Are you looking for more out of your life? Do you need ideas on how to start new businesses and how to move forward in your own personal life? Well, guess what? You have come to the right radio show. At You Can Overcome Anything podcast show, you will learn and hear from many people from all walks of life who are sharing their challenges, their stories, the habits, and the mind shifts they had to overcome to become who they are today. On top, you will get a chance to connect and see how you can overcome anything by networking and learning about your next move through this radio show. I present to you our great speakers at You Can Overcome Anything podcast show with your host, Cesar Espino. Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of You Can Overcome Anything podcast show. It is your host, Cesar Espino, and today I have a special guest. Her name is Yelena K. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, Cesar. How are you?
I am doing good. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. So let me give the listeners and viewers a little bit of your background, and then we can kind of dive in. You graduated with a Master's of Science in 2013 and became a licensed mental health counselor in Florida 2 years later. You trained in EMDR and have been working with a variety of populations of all ages for over 8 years, children, teens, and adults. However, your education is not the only thing you value. Your personal experience can be even more powerful. You came to the U.S. with no family and having only $600 to your name, but with absolute certainty that will become a long-run hit for you. So I definitely want to stop there, and I want to start from there. First, tell me, where are you from originally, and let's talk about that whole story before coming to the States.
So I was born and raised in Russia. Well, actually, when I was born, it was USSR. So then became Russia in the 90s. So that's where I'm from, and I'm from wonderful part of Russia that called Siberia.
Okay, cool. So tell me about your upbringing. How was that for you growing up in Russia? How was your childhood? Your family, parents, all that stuff.
I had a great childhood. I was very adventurous. My mom is a professional athlete, so I was traveling with my mom a lot since my mom said I was like a year and a half, and she took me the first time in a competition. And we spent during the summer times when she was actually still running and participating in an event in her competition events, which is orienteering, which is a weird sport that probably no one knows, but it's fun. So yeah, and I spent lots of times traveling with her, and during the summertime we spent like a week in a tent. So during the winter, obviously we have other arrangements, but it was very fun. I still communicate with my friends from Russia that are still there, that I got to know while I was a part of the sport. I learned a lot about them. I learned a lot about myself, and I really, really appreciate that experience.
Okay, and so let me see this. Why did you decide to come to the States? What was that all about? How did that come about?
Yeah, good question. So I was studying in Russia in college, university, for a major in English. So I can know English, and I didn't know what I'm gonna do with it. So I was like, okay, it's a teaching university, and you have to study two languages, and my second major was German. So, and it was kind of becoming popular that students go to Europe or to the United States, travel back and forth, get experience or get a few months of work done, maybe travel and then return home and, have some money, have some experience and see different cultures. So I was kind of interested in that. So I applied, I got approved. And I just remember it was so funny because I was getting done with my university, and then my last exam was German. I passed it, and first thing in the morning, after the big exam, the phone rang, and I was told that my visa is approved.
Mm.
and it was so short. So, and I think like a few weeks later, not even that many few, I was on a plane.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're
So
like
my
that's
parents didn't even have time to think.
yeah.
They just, I had, give few dollars, whatever they could, and like, and then I was on the plane going pretty much nowhere but somewhere.
Yeah, right. And so when you came, did you decide to like that said I'm staying here, or how did that go? How did that work out for you?
Yeah, it was not like that easy of an answer in the process. I had lots of fun, but challenges at the same time because I don't know anybody. I was on the plane with some peers, students that I was not even close to. When you see somebody in the hallway, it's like, hi.
Yeah, right.
That was my closest friend
Okay.
that I came to US, and so we have to figure out where we're gonna sleep or where we're gonna stay. So, and one of the friend who was actually been there already, he's like, well, let's go to Ocean City, New Jersey. And, I know a place to stay. So that's how I started. And, it was like a house full of students from all over the country, not all over the country, from all over the world.
Wow. Okay.
Speaking different languages.
Yeah.
I remember we have Russian, we have Lithuanian, we have Polish, we have Belarus, and Bulgarian. That's what I remember. It was like a house full of students. It was fun.
Yeah.
So I worked a lot. My mindset was make as much money as I can. That's what I'm here for. And obviously have some fun in between.
Right.
To, walk around and see what's up. Yeah, so that's how I started and just get into I had few months in Ocean City, and then when the season was over, some of my friends were going to Florida because its season starts here when it finishes up north. So that's how I just came with them. They were just friends, a couple of friends that stayed in the house with me, and after that, I was like, okay, maybe I'll stay here. And I met my partner, and we kind of took it from there.
How old were you when you came to the States?
I just turned 22.
Okay. So are there any lessons that you can see by taking that move from Russia to the States? Like any major lessons that you've learned through that process?
The lesson, it's know that you're gonna make it. Like don't doubt in yourself, because you'll figure it out when there is no other way, when there is no other choice. Like I didn't have any choice but not to figure it out, even though I didn't have, I didn't really have much to come to, but I knew that after I had a place to stay, the next morning I need to get up and look for work.
Yeah.
There was not much thinking. Like I needed, like my rent was ridiculous amount of money for how many, and I had like maybe 2 weeks worth of rent. It was like, okay. And then not even including other expenses.
Right.
I was like, okay, I need, that's what I'm here for. So you need to do something about it. Not overthink, not doubt. Don't have time to doubt in yourself, right? Let's have the right mindset, and let's do something about it.
Yeah. I mean, I know for me, like so I'm from Mexico, and coming into the States, and obviously you had a bigger upper hand because you kind of already knew the language. So I didn't know the language, and I had to learn. So just being able to understand, communicate, do all of these different things was a little bit challenging, and then not knowing anyone, right? So I know that there was definitely a lot of lessons with that coming into the States, being from a different place. And so definitely, I think one thing that I can probably allude to is that sometimes we as people, we are afraid of taking the opportunity, and we're afraid to try something that is uncomfortable because of that fear. And through that lesson or through that aspect is when you sometimes learn, right? And so I don't know how you see it from your perspective, yet what would you tell somebody that might be in the fence line of either thinking of doing something or not, and they feel uncomfortable, they feel like they have fear? Like, what would be your advice for them to keep pushing through?
Well, fear is always going to be there. It's a natural instinct, pretty much, right? But you have to decide for yourself, are you going to be functioning on the level of just instincts like a caveman, or you're going to be someone who is taking that risk and getting over the fear, because the next step to success is on the other side of that fear. So once you know, once you believe that, and maybe take smaller steps, it means not jump into something crazy, but building that resilience, building that confidence, right? That, okay, that was a little fearful, that was uncomfortable, but I did it. Then what else can I do? Building that confidence that, yes, it's fearful, it's painful, but it's rewarding. So eventually you're kind of excited to be fearful, because success is on the other side of it.
Right. Yeah, I love that. I definitely love that. And so you moved to Florida. Perhaps some other challenges came with family, friends, trying to build a business. So I want to talk about how the idea of becoming a coach came about, and then you have you're a mom too, so you're trying to go through all of that. So tell me about all of those challenges.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of things to talk about. But yeah, definitely. So, having children and want to be an involved parent, right? Not just somebody who's there. For me, definitely that is a must, especially when they're younger. Right now, my son is 14, and he's like, I don't think he even notice him if I'm around or not. It's not a priority. But when he was smaller, then obviously he was very close with to me. So the coaching business, I decided, if I'm staying here for sure, right, after having my first child, I need to have an education here. It's something that it's just me. So, and I was always interested in psychology. I was when I was studying for my English major, which was not easy for me because I had no pretty much English background compared to other students who were pretty advanced. I still was reading some books on psychology. I don't know why. I just found it fascinating. It was something weird but interesting and unknown, because you cannot touch it, So, but I didn't have any chance to pretty much dive deeper into it because I was in a different major. So when I thought about it, I made a decision that I want to pursue what I was interested in when I was a young adult. So, and I just did it. I called a couple of universities. I translated my diploma. They give me the equivalent of bachelor's of science. So with that, I was able to apply for master's, and went through grad school. And then, took 2 years to get my license with hours and a state exam. So, but that's mental health. That's been about 9 years now. But then about like a year ago, I was like, what else can I do? Like, you can't really settle, right, for a long time. Like, you have to move on. Like, it's our nature. And I ran into something on Facebook, that who was transitioning maybe, or helping mental health therapists to build some coaching business. So that's how it kind of started with this post. And I started to be a part of masterminds and self-development courses and seminars and reading, book on self-development. I was like, wow, this is great. Like, I love that for myself. I made some shifts and discoveries. So, and I was like, well, I have a mental health background and experience. I think this is the best you can have to go into coaching for me. And it was like, well, if it works for me and I can make a change in my mindset or perception, I can definitely use that with my clients. And that's what I do. So that's what I decided to do. Whatever I learn in mastermind and seminars and books, I implement into my clients if they're open for it, on top of therapy. And if they want to do just therapy, that's fine. But if they're open to get something extra, I am here for them to offer that.
Yeah. How critical is, I mean, you talked about seminars and books and, just kind of further educating yourself. How critical is it for anyone to really get into masterminds and events and self-development? Like, how critical is that for people's lives?
I wish I'd done it earlier. That's how it's critical.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think it's good to start as a teenager. It opens up your mind, right? It opens up not just your mind, but you're being exposed to amazing people who can push you and support you, and discovering yourself through knowing those kind of type of people, right? And then we know that your surrounding is pretty much defines who you become and who you are and how you function. So once you are around people who are in that mindset, strong mindset that's driving them, right? Mindset that just not settling for less, then you're becoming that as well. And that's how critical you are. If you are on the path that you want to always grow and develop and challenge yourself, then sure. But some people, they want to be maybe do certain things and it's uncomfortable for them. That's all good. It's not for everyone. But if you don't know, if you don't try.
Right. Yeah, and I couldn't agree with you more than that. I mean, I think that anything that has to do with like self-development, either mentorship or like even picking up a book is being is in my opinion is also a form of mentorship, because you're learning from that person's experience or whatever it might be in that book, right? But yeah, going to events, and I'm a big advocate of that, because I believe that especially being an entrepreneur, I think that sometimes those events for me, it kind of serves as a church for entrepreneurs, right? You learn so much, and you talked about the people you hang around with. Like, I think that's huge too. Like, we are the average of the 5 we hang around with, so that's so critical. So one of the things that you definitely want to do, and I want to see how you take people into this journey, is that you want to really you want to help other people live a more passionate, joyful, and self-fulfilling lives. So how are you able to do that through the things that you offer?
Well, I kind of have like few steps that I think that fits my vision, and so far at this point of my life that I can able to implement. So first, because of my background, I'm pretty sure that you can't really move on to like being positive and being, have a great mindset if you don't take care of some things from the past. I mean, can hold you back and slow down drastically. So what I want to do with my clients, and then what I do, we learn how to get over the past. We learn how to appreciate events that were not fun. We learn how to change your perspective and make some shifts so you can actually move on and use that as a past, because there is nothing we can do about it. We can only learn and leave it alone, right? And use it, obviously. So once we kind of take care of that, mindset for me is a key. Okay, so now you are like, okay, you're ready to go. Let's work on your mindset. Let's work on your surroundings. Let's work on the words you are choosing in your daily vocabulary, and all those kind of things. And once we start developing that, I want to implement some skills. Like, okay, you have mindset, but you need to maybe you lack some skills that you need to move forward. So once we learn that, we have mindset, you take care of the past, you have mindset, you have a skill, you need to take some action. You need to do something about it. Knowledge is power, but it's pretty powerless if we don't do anything if we don't use it. So this kind of the steps that takes client, and I see it as a transformation as a transition as well, I guess, from being having lots of regrets and being stuck in the past, and that affects your present. You don't really see the future. You feel unhappy, you feel unfulfilled, you feel like some things are holding you back. Let's take care of that with past set, mindset, skill set, get off your behind set. Like let's do that. Let's build a bridge from where you are and where you want to be using this model. Yeah, that's kind of, that's where I'm at right now, and so far that's what I'm working on.
And I gotta tell you, I love that whole that process or those steps, right? Like, I think a lot of people do get hung up on the past, and I mean, I'm not perfect. I mean, I've gone through that myself too, where, you know, dependence, it could be a relation, it could be business, could be whatever the case may be, right? Sometimes we get hung up on the past, and I often tell and go back and remind myself that the past is merely an experience, an educational experience. So we have to extract the lessons from the past, and those lessons are going to serve us to act today, you know, the now moment, and then the now moment is going to affect the future. And I always tell people is that do not, the one thing you cannot do is cheat on your future with your past, because sometimes we do, we're cheating on our future with our past, right?
We're like married to the past, or dating past, right? So
yeah, exactly, right. And so that's important. And then I like the fact that you're talking about the mindset, because I do believe that that's a huge component where a lot of people don't see it, and it's so powerful when you start looking at, well, the things that I'm watching, the things that I'm listening to, the things that I'm, you know, the people that I'm surrounding myself with, and how they're talking to me, whatever. Like, that's huge. I've seen that time after time, right? Where that could be a deal breaker. Like, your mind can make it or break it for you, right? And so that's so critical. And just going to the skills and the action, I think the action is where people are lacking, right? Like, they have all these great ideas, and then before you know, it's like, well, okay, now what? And they forget to take the action.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. And so one thing that you talk about in either this is from your own personal experience, or you probably dealt with people that you have been coaching, is that people tend to put their everybody else's needs first before they put their own needs, or again, they're looking for the approval of other people's opinions. And you're talking about, you know, letting that go, right? So can you give me more of that?
I am actually a big fan of a saying, put the oxygen mask first on yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a huge reason why they're teaching those on the planes. Because if you're not able to, if you are lack of oxygen, and you are not helping others, or not to your full capacity. So take care of yourself first, so you can be functional, best version of yourself to help others. So yeah,
no, I definitely love that. And so definitely, you know, if people, so what kind of people work with you in your coaching? Like, is it well, I guess that, I mean, really, is it people dealing with some trauma, or who comes to you and works for you?
Mostly right now I do have adults, both females and males, as my clients, and the key is they're ready to take some action. Like, if we work on all of that, they are ready to just do something about it, because they know wherever I'm at, I don't want to be here anymore. So I need, and it's kind of like a key or a deal breaker for me. If you're not ready to make any changes, to be open-minded and listen and comprehend information and take knowledge and use it, I can't help you. I can teach you anything you want to know, but if you are not ready to receive, that's going to be very difficult, or it's not going to be a real result they're waiting for. So people have to be ready to take some action, and to have to be ready to be uncomfortable. It's not going to be comfortable. If they will be comfortable and easy, then everybody will be doing that.
Yeah,
right?
Right. Yeah.
So I want to make sure that people understand that you have to go through some pain, and actually be excited to go through some pain, because that on the other side, that's where you want to be.
Right.
So be excited that you have a pain ahead of you. It means you have a growth spur coming up. Okay. Let's not focus on the short-term pain. Let's focus on, once we get over it, once we experience that, what's up there for me? What kind of progress and what kind of a next level I'm going to achieve? Let's get excited about it. But let's not be unrealistic and think like, okay, we gotta go with Yelena through like 8-week program and I'm gonna be all happy for the rest of my life. Like, happiness is a skill, and it's not just naturally given, right? It's something that you continue to work on, and you continue to have the mindset right and the skills and implement everything that we were going to be doing during this program, and continue to be on the path of self-education, continue to read books, continue to get to know new people. You can't stop. It's like going to the gym. Yes, you had a great intensive 2 or 3 months workout, you start getting results, right? And you're like, oh, okay, I'm good for the rest of my life. No. 2 weeks later, you're gonna be going like, oh no, why? Where's my six pack? So it's the same thing. Once you get a skill, we need to do it on a daily basis and work on mindset and skill, and feed our mind right with the right food, not just the junk food information. And so that continues, but let's hold you accountable. Like, I hold people accountable. They have no choice but to come to my session and bring something.
Yeah.
I hold them accountable because I think accountability is a key as well. Because if I put like a higher expectation that you're going to be doing this, we talked about that, let's take a step. What exactly are you going to do? And if it's not done, then how are we going to move on? Like, I'm gonna ask you about it. Like, if you didn't do it, I'm not going to be upset at you. That's not my place. But let's explore why. Okay. So accountability is definitely a big part of it. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much what's on my mind.
Yeah. No, and I gotta tell you, you dropped some really good content there, and I didn't see it from that perspective. But you're right. Like, if you're going through pain, do know that there's something. Once that pain bursts, there's something better out after that. And so I think that's the challenge. So some people get hung up and they stay in that pain for too long, and they don't work on themselves, and therefore they don't see the after fact or the aftermath result of what that could be, right? What the good things that could be. So I didn't see it that way, but it is true. Like, if you're going through pain right now, do know there's something better coming, as long as you're working on yourself and you're doing something to better yourself. Otherwise, you're always going to be, it's like that, people, when they're depressed, they stay depressed for months and years to come because they're not working on it. Yet if you're depressed and you're working through that, you go through that depression and you find out like, wow, like there's something huge, even better for me at the end of this, right? But I really enjoy you saying that. And then even the, talking about the other points that you're talking about is like being uncomfortable and being accountable to, like, having that accountability, which is huge. Because if nobody's holding you accountable, then you're not taking any actions. And by the way, at the end of the day, you're only lying to yourself. You're not lying to anybody else, right? So you're only affecting yourself and not anybody else. So that's pretty awesome. Where can people find you if they wanted to work with you or know more about you? Where can they find you?
Yeah, actually, they can go to my website, which is www.yelenakcoaching.com. They can book a free session with me if they have any further questions, and to see if that we can work together, if they are ready or we are good fit. So I love to talk to somebody free of charge. There's no obligation. They can go on Facebook and check my profile out at Yelena Kuzmina. And I think they can start there, and they can send me the email. Yeah.
Okay. And I have two more questions for you. Number one
Sure.
is if, do you have any habits or anything that you do on a day-to-day basis to help you, stay in this kind of mindset?
The habit, I constantly talk to myself and remind myself, where do I want to be and who do I want to become? What is the one thing I did today to get me closer to that? And I'm practicing and I'm learning to visualize that. So when I'm excited about it, the challenges that you're going through is there, but you know what you want or where you want to be. And then you're excited because you can visualize it. So, and that part of and another part, stay active. Go for a walk, go for a run, go for a walk on the beach. Just go around the block. Feel some sun, feel some wind in your hair. That's just so important. If you're staying inside, but you're in your head, by your computer, by yourself, that is just not mentally very good.
Yeah.
So, and right now with this situation and pandemic, people are really, and I see so many my clients feeling lonely. So at least one of the things that I always big on, did you go out? What did you do today? To physically move. Okay. Yeah. I don't care what you do, but we need to physically move our body to have a little bit of more oxygen flow into our brain, to have those, oxygen, and then so our blood is moving. So not just sitting around. It really affects your mood.
Yeah.
So I guess those are a couple of things that's.
Yeah, I love that. That's one thing that I do every day. I definitely go out for walks, and I'm, in at least 45-minute walks, and just move my body, put out some audio books or motivational speakers or podcasts like mine, which is pretty awesome, and just listen to that, right? But I think it's important to go out and kind of go out and do that. And obviously, I have a couple other things that I do every day, but at the end of the day, doing those things is like pretty amazing, and I love that. The last question I have for you is, people that are listening to us that might be going through some sort of challenge, whatever the challenge might be, what is one thing or a few things that they can start doing now to overcome that challenge?
Get a coach. Reach out for some help.
Yeah.
Don't feel like you're battling it by yourself.
Yeah.
And pick up a book. Or it depends what challenge you're going through, but just knowing that you're not alone in this is important. Find a Facebook group that you connect with, that you find support in. Connect with people who are going through similar thing, or a group in person. Do something. And even though you don't feel like it, do it, because who is in charge? It's always me, not my mind, who is always good, not who, but the mind is going to settle for less.
Right.
And if you remind yourself, I'm a creator of my destiny, I'm in charge, then you're going to join that group on Facebook. You're going to reach out to a coach or therapist or a friend who knows somebody. Somebody knows somebody. But you have, by not doing anything, you're making it worse, because there's a lot of fears, and they're always going to be there. But start small to overcome small fears, to get to your big fears. Yeah. To get to big stuff.
Yeah. And you're right. I mean, the mind is going to try to keep you safe, right? And it's going to limit you. Right. Exactly. It's going to limit you. So you got to be able to get a little bit uncomfortable and reach out to somebody. So I love that, like reaching out to people, connecting with the other people in different Facebooks,
Yeah.
sending you a message. Maybe, you know, that someone that can talk to you, you know, to is, it'll be you. Listen to this podcast, different things. Just do something. Don't do nothing at the end of the day. Awesome. I love it. Yelena, anything else that that you want to say before I let you go?
What do I want to say? Just take uncomfortable action, you know, and be excited being uncomfortable. It sounds so weird, but I find it so true that being excited to be uncomfortable, being excited to have some pain, because you know good things on the other side of it.
Yeah, no, I love that. Definitely love that. So definitely I want to say thank you for being here today and sharing this with my audience. And, you know, I had a great time speaking to you.
Yes, thank you so much, Caesar. It was a pleasure. And thank you for having me.
Awesome. Definitely. Thank you. And for the rest of you guys, please make sure you check out Yelena at her website, Facebook, connect with her. And please share this podcast with other people, because people need to hear this message. And stay tuned for the next episode of You Can Overcome Anything podcast show. Have a good day.
Hi, I'm Cesar Espino, real estate investor, business coach, and consultant, and author of the book, You Can Overcome Anything, Even When the World Says No. My number is 424-501-6046. In my book, I talk about making the necessary changes to shift your mind for prosperity and certainty. Pick up your copy at Amazon. I also love helping families with their real estate and can purchase your house fast and all cash. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. My number is 424-501-6046.
Thank you for having me today. I am so glad you've tuned into this podcast. You can find me at your favorite podcast platform where you can like, subscribe, comment, and share. And to learn more about myself, my services, you can find me at www.cesarrespino.com, or you can also find me at your social media. Thanks for joining me, and I am looking forward to having you at the next episode. And know you truly can overcome anything.